Hello and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time watching, my name is Matt and I'm currently working to rebuild an old excavator. Now you might have missed all the nonsense in the last video, which is fine. In this one we're going to be back on the engine, which is under here. Now this is an Isuzu 4BD1T. Definitely not an expert on this engine, but we'll give it our best shot. In the last engine video, I think we ended on a high note. I had a plan on what I was going to do. Then I got the oil report back, which had some numbers that were a little bit concerning. So let me read this real quick. And if you might have already seen this on Instagram or whatever, but they compared the numbers from my sample to a typical 4BD1T sample that they, I guess, had on file there. And really the numbers that are concerning are a high amount of aluminum, chrome, iron, copper, lead, tin. I mean, that's all kind of related. They have comments here, but they're not super useful, in my opinion. The results are high enough to indicate excess wear at the pistons, aluminum, which these are aluminum pistons, that's correct. Piston rings, chrome, steel parts like cylinder shafts, iron, and then bronze parts like bearings, bushings, because of the copper, lead, tin. So in this engine, the pistons are aluminum, they're right about that. The liners are chromed, so that could be an excessive wear in the liner. The rings are cast. They're not chromed. Bronze parts. I don't know about bronze in here. I haven't seen any bronze. I'm not sure about that one. So the plan in the previous engine video was to just replace the bearings and possibly the rings. But the high aluminum number kind of has me concerned, and the high chrome number has me concerned that there's something else going on. So I think the best bet here is to pull all the pistons, inspect them, make sure everything's okay, replace the rings and the bearings, and assuming everything's okay. So we'll just kind of start there and see what happens. Anyways, before I get into the engine, I'm going to start with the turbocharger. And the reason for that is there's a lot of aluminum components in that, and that could be, maybe, hopefully, the cause of all the aluminum in the oil. I mean, that's the hope, at least. Okay, full disclosure, I've never rebuilt one of these before, but this is like as simple as you can get. So it's probably a good place to start. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the intake and exhaust side are clocked right here to a specific orientation. Should probably mark it. Hoo-yah! Whoa! There we go. Ow. That was right in the knuckle. Let's move in. Whoa. Oh. Okay. A couple videos ago I measured this, and the play in this, like this way, is out of spec by a bit, but there's also actually quite a fair amount of play. This is the replacement. I think I got this for like 70 bucks. It's the cheap, well, it's not the cheapest one I could find, but it was an eBay mystery Chinese one. So that intake is quite a bit bigger. You can see that. Actually, I'm not sure. This one might just be chewed up on the inside. The fins look pretty beat up. Okay, there's a little alignment peg here. Great. Spinning freely. That noise is just this thing's hitting. The blades definitely look a lot better than these. These are really chewed up. We got a data sheet here. We got Rotational speed is 150,000 RPM. This red line must be the spec. Vibrational level. Well, it looks good. So this I cleaned up. This I sandblasted and then I coated it with, what's it called? Slip-on? No, slip plate. And it's basically just graphite with a bonding agent. It works really well on exhaust manifolds. Never tried it on a turbo before. I guess we'll see what happens, but it handles heat really well. Forgot about this. Ah. Oh yeah. There's like no play. There's a tiny bit of play this way, but no play forward, backwards. I think that's good. This goes like this. I'll tighten that down later when I'm sure I have this put together right. And there's this, I think this is for the input. Put that there so I don't lose it. Turbo rebuilt. Not too hard. Actually, it was easy. This is the shaft, obviously, that it rides on. There's two bearings that go right here. These are bronze bearings, and they're extremely worn. I can like do that, which is not good. I can rock them quite a bit. I think one of these is even worse. Yeah, this is even worse right here. So there was bronze in the oil sample, so that could, I think this is going to explain it. I don't think there's any other bronze bearings in the engine. And as far as aluminum, I mean, the intake, this is chewed up, but I don't think this is going to get into the oil. I mean, the turbo wasn't leaking, so, I mean, it's going to get into the intake, but probably not the oil, maybe. I do see some junk in there. I mean, there's not a lot. Okay, I got these cleaned off. They look pretty good. There's no chewed up teeth or anything. Is this... Nope, there goes the bypass. Oh, found it. The ball come out? Okay, ball's still in there. Just checking for any dirt that's stuck in here. I actually do see some marks on here, but I can't catch a fingernail on them. I'll show you on a good camera here in a second. But there's, can't catch a fingernail on them, so I think this is fine. All these surfaces are really smooth. Oh. Good. Good. I think this is one I took off before, so it's probably not torqued on there. Yeah, those are loose because they're... Yep. All right. All this stuff's already stamped. The rod caps are stamped on the side. At least I thought they were. Yeah, right there. Yeah, just check. They're all stamped on this side, the non-injection pump side of the engine. It's a note for me in the future. Should go this way. Get my piston removing tool. Oh, it's already almost all the way out. Okay. There we go. Easy. Easy. Oh, perfect time, Charlie. Well, it's definitely a piston. The rings aren't frozen. Not that they would be. We'll look at these all closer later. That away from the journal. Ooh, don't fall out, please. I can basically just push this out with my hand. Piece of plastic gauge in there. Easy. All right. Uh-oh. Well, I mean, I can see it right away. There's a crack right here. So this piston's garbage. Yeah, I can even see it on, it's coming through on the other side. So this is all the way through. This was cylinder 1, which was always kind of the suspicious one. The compression number was lower. So, okay, that's okay. Nobody's perfect. I should have pulled the number 1 rod initially instead of number 2 in the previous video, but you know. No! Easy. Okay, well, no cracks in this one. Ooh, this one's not coming off. It's a little suspicious when these don't come off easily. Like this is having a hard time. I do have new rod bolts, by the way. These are torque to yield. Looks good. There we go. Just let it right in there. Nice. You got it. All right. So that's number, what was that, 4? Pretty much perfect. We'll measure them later, but I seriously doubt there's going to be any problems with them. Let's get a real good look at the liners. Oh, what was that? Something just fell out. What is this? Oh, this must be the oil pump thingamabobber. So if all 4 of these are good, I think I'm okay. If one of them's bad though, I might as well just, you know, do a full rebuild. But, you know, that's a lot more money, so. Okay, well, let me show you what I'm seeing here. So 2, 3, and 4 all look pretty good. I mean, they're a little bit glazed, but I mean, they're probably fine. But you get to 1, get the light right. Ooh, right there, wait. There's that vertical line. It's really hard to see with the camera. Right there, I can't move the light or else it'll disappear. All the way down the cylinder wall. I can just start to get my fingernail on it, so that's not good. And then that's cylinder 1, which is the same one that's cracked. All right, so I think I said earlier that the stamp number on the rod corresponds to the non-injection side, which means this is sitting like that. So you look at there and there's a corresponding score all the way down the piston. I'm not sure what's causing that. I mean, it's got to be maybe a piece of metal. I don't know. Doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, the piston is cracked and that liner is no longer good, unfortunately. So I guess we all know what that means. To be honest, I'm not super surprised about this because just yesterday, the shop that's rebuilding the injectors called me and they said they were really, really, really bad injectors. They tested them out. They're supposed to be at like a 180 bar and they were at 130 and they were chattering. The spray pattern was really, really bad, just barely functional. And with it, especially with a turbocharged engine like this, I think bad injectors can just ruin an engine. And this engine was well on its way to being ruined. And that's all because of the fuel tank, right? And they weren't changing out the fuel filters. So that's my guess of what's going on with this thing. One thing I noticed on these things, and someone actually mentioned this in the comments, is that these filler caps, and you can look in here, like there's moisture. This is like a chrome covering, but it's just, you can tell there's moisture. This one's a nightmare underneath. So someone was saying, and we'll put it to the test in a second, that these do not seal properly. They let water get in. And I think that's what happened here is that water got through these caps into the tank, rusted out both of these tanks. All right, I got this hole filled up. And yeah, it's dripping out right there. So if water can come out that way, it can go in that way, right? That's the best theory I have for what happened. Let me know if you have a different one, but this is all the information I have kind of points to this. So that's what I'm going with. Doesn't really matter at this point. By the way, I did get the cylinder head back, which is a much happier story. They obviously cleaned it and they checked it for cracks. He said the valves were not sealing well at all. So they're all redone. He didn't have to replace any guides or anything, just the seals obviously. The one thing he did complain about was these injector ports. If you remember, the seals were all bad, so they were full of water and they were all rusted out inside. He said it took him a long time to clean all that rust out of there. They look much better. They were just full of rust before. So here's what it cost me. 100 for the surfacing the head and 245 for the valve grind. All the other stuff he doesn't really mention, like, you know, but 400 bucks. Good machine shop, I've used it before. I'll be taking the block there too. And he doesn't do a lot of diesel stuff, but he has experience with this engine and he said he'd be happy to do it for me. Okay, kind of cleaning off, just checking these bearings out. So number 4, a really, really bad spot here. I mean, there's got to be a mark on the journal from that. This top side looks fine, but this is the cap side. There is nothing on this journal. It's completely smooth. All right, new plan. Oh, why are you so wet? Okay, new plan on this thing is to strip it down as much as possible. Take it to the machine shop. I want the machine shop to hot tank it, magnaflux it for cracks, and remove and install new liners, clean up the top. That should be it. It probably, hopefully, will not cost me too much money. First thing though, I want to get the alignment set up on here and make sure I know what I'm doing before I remove it. Okay, so we got the A there, and then on the crank there, which is the lower shaft, it's off by a notch. Same thing with the B. Then over here we have the injection pump, also off. But they have two C's stamped there. Do you see that? The one that's actually lined up is it's a little bit not as hard stamped in there, but there's no way this is like this from the factory. I mean, was this already rebuilt at one point? What? Oh, don't fall. There it is. Easy. It's not coming out easy. Oh, it's hitting. I see the problem. Probably should have looked at that closer. All right. Probably should keep these in order, huh? Are these gonna come out? Nope, you gotta push them through. Yep. So these cam bearings are not the best. Can you hear that? That one's really bad. I think the middle one is also not great, but it's I mean, it's not bad. It's bad, but it's not great. And that one, oh man, I can just see that one. Looks terrible. Let's take a look at the cam. Nope. Yeah, this is oil for the injection pump. Nope, that's a 14. Easy. Missed one right here. There we go. Oh. Yep. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. I'm gonna try to get the rear seal off without having to take it off the stand. So I'm not gonna be able to pull the crankshaft. All right. The other one must be on the crank still. Yep, there it is. Take a quick look at these. Just pop all these out. Mm-hmm. I think this is holding this gear in here. Maybe. No, it's not. Oh, I forgot about that. Oil in, and then it's liquid cooled. Oh, these are the cooling passages, and then yeah, this has got to be an oil pressure switch. Yeah, coolant passage. So there is a freeze plug there and there on the back. I'll have him just knock those out once the liners are out. It'll make it a lot easier to do. I think there's a couple on this side too, but I'll just leave those in. It's fine. I'll replace them, but he can knock them out. Not sure what this is. Is that an O-ring? All right, I think that's it. So am I gonna be able to carry this out of here? Let's see. Oh yeah, not that bad. So lift with your back with a sharp jerking motion. You gonna, is this coming out or? There we go. Yep, not too bad. And down. Okay, so before this goes in the machine shop, I need to order new liners. And before I order the liners, I need to figure out if there's anything else I need to order so I can, you know, save on shipping and order everything at once. So we need to look at these pistons real quick. The lifters, I'm pretty sure gonna be okay, but we'll check those out. I'll quickly mic out the journals on here. I mean, I'm pretty like 99% sure this is gonna be fine. And I think I'm gonna, like I mentioned before, I'm gonna take the camshaft in with me to get his opinion. I mean, you can see it's just not like a polished, I don't know how like polished it's supposed to be. It's really smooth, but it's, oopsie, that's not gonna help. It's really smooth, but I mean, it's no, you know, nowhere near like one of these. Everything on this table should be good to go, just need to be cleaned up. Okay, this is the bad piston here. Oh. This all looks pretty good. Ooh. 09. Hopefully this stuff still works. It's been a while. So I told you a lie before. This top ring is actually chrome plated according to the manual. I mean, you can see it versus the second ring. It's, well, it's hard to tell. It's shinier. It looks different. So the chrome in the engine oil sample could have been from the rings too. It's only been a couple minutes. Ooh, that one just slides right out. Bushing in here looks a little bit better than it did on the number 1 rod. This one had some scratches. And man, that one fell out even easier than the other one. Number one, I don't think I got it on camera, but number one, I actually had to tap out with a little brass drift to get that one out. But these other ones are just falling out. A lot more carbon on this one. This is number 4. This one's really loose in here too. Just putting this cap back on, but this fastener, I think, was this the one I was having trouble with to loosen? This is a number 4. Oh yeah. What's up with that? It's tight, not like the other ones. Is there a burr in there? Okay, so I'm gonna get the micrometers out and start going over this stuff, comparing it to the spec. I think this is everything I need to measure except for the tappets, which are on the other table, so I'll check those in a second. But everything else I think I've checked before. Okay, back from measuring everything. Got some good news, bad news. First off, on these tappets, they look okay except for the second one right there. You see some pitting. I can see some pitting at least. And the last one has that little spot there. They're all within spec, but that is a little bit, I mean, I'll see if I can, I don't know. Should I replace those? It's a decent wear pattern. Just looking at the wear pattern on the rocker arms, it looks, you know, pretty much the same on each one. The bad news is the camshaft. So I got it over here. So to measure the lift on here, you have to do like a differential measurement between, you know, no lift and then versus with the lift, like that. So I got the numbers here. Okay, so starting with 1, which is on the bottom, and working my way up. Well, here, so the standard is I'm dealing in inches right now. So 0.304, the limit's 284. So we got 283, 295, 277, 297, 281, 294, 279, 296. So if I recall, I believe the first is intake, exhaust. So it seems like to me all the intakes are almost out of spec. The exhausts are fine. The duration on the exhaust is a little bit longer than the intake. You can see this is a little bit of a sharper lobe. So maybe that's why the exhausts are less worn. I don't know. But I'll have to see. I mean, these journals are already suspect. I mean, these do not look great. So maybe I should check and see if I can find a camshaft. An OEM one's going to be expensive, but maybe I should bite the bullet. Okay, as far as the pistons, they all looked okay. I don't see any like cracks or, you know, overheating or scoring on them except for number 1. I think that one's fine. This is number 3. I mean, looks okay. 2 is fine. Number 1, this is the one, and I don't think I ever got a good shot of it. Let's see if I can get a shot here of the crack. So right there, I'm hoping you can see that. You know, right there, pretty obvious. You can even see it. If I can get a focus here, you can see it coming through right here. Then we got the piston pins. These were all well within spec, except for number 3 was like 1 or 2 thou smaller. I think it was 1 thou smaller than these. Still like just barely below spec, but it's not below the limit. I think I will replace the bushings in here though. A couple of them have some deep scratches in them that I can catch with my fingernail. Finally, we have the crankshaft. So the journals all look pretty good. I mean, you know, I don't even think, I mean, maybe I'll just slightly polish these things by myself, but I'm not going to take this into the machine shop. Everything is well within spec. Everything's round. So I think this thing is okay, fortunately. And I did go over this thing to check for cracks. I mean, you know, right in here is where I think cracks usually form. So I went very carefully over all that. Didn't see anything even resembling a crack. Yeah, really nothing wrong with it. I also don't really have a great way to do it, but I did check, you know, just lining these rods up to make sure they're not bent or anything, and they all lined up good. So as far as stuff I need to order, 4 new liners, 1 new piston, these 4 bushings. I'll look into getting a camshaft. That would be nice to have. Do I need to replace these 2 tappets? Probably not. I'll check to see what the price is. I do have some stuff in. This is what I ordered after the first video. So we got rings, and you can tell by the tape these have been sitting on a shelf for a long time, which is a good thing because, I mean, parts recently seem to be going down in quality. 4 sets of brand new rings. I got new rod bolts, and new bearings. These are rod and main bearings. Oh wait, those are just the main bearings. I think these are rod bearings here. I got all this stuff from, I called the company up called Logan Diesel. They actually knew a lot about this engine. They helped me out, gave me a lot of advice about what I should get. Oh, I also got a seal kit. So this should be everything I need. I can see I already have some stuff I don't need, like I already got new valve seals. This is for the injectors, which I don't need. This is not an Isuzu gasket kit, by the way. This is like an aftermarket because it was, I think, $300 cheaper to get this than the Isuzu one. Also got the rebuilt injectors back. So these look brand new, but they are the original ones that just rebuilt. I think I stamped these with what cylinder they were off of. Is that still on here? Oh, yeah, no. I see a 2 right there. Okay, these are the original injectors, just making sure. So those are all rebuilt. Already showed you the cylinder head. So obviously there was 3 kind of big surprises on this engine. First was the #1 piston being cracked. And like I said, I'm guessing that's because the injectors were bad, but I don't know. You know, if you have a better idea, let me know. #2 was the camshaft bearings being like all chewed up, which is a little bit interesting. They're just bad. Okay. And then the third thing, which I'm still scratching my head about, is the timing marks all being misaligned by 1 tooth. Hello, Matt from the future here. I just realized I'm an idiot with this timing thing. So there's the 3 marks, A, B, and C, and they were all off, but they're all off by 1 tooth in the same direction. So basically everything was still in time. It was that this was just off by 1 tooth. So you could have just pulled this out, rotated it 1 tooth, and then everything would have been lined up. So I think the engine was actually set up right. It was just this one idler gear that was in there wrong. So when I was talking to the lady at Logan Diesel, the manual doesn't say this, but she was telling me these head bolts, you only can use them, like reuse them once, so like a 2-time use thing. And I think they were like $15 or $20 each for new ones. So one thing I'm gonna do off camera here before I place my order is I'm just gonna take a micrometer and go down the shank and make sure they're not stretched out. Any that are stretched out will replace, but it would be nice to save on those just so I don't have to spend a ton of money just on fasteners. That's gonna do it for this video, I guess. Kind of a huge disappointment. I was hoping to get stuff back together, but you know, it is what it is. You can't force it. And I'm glad I found all the stuff wrong with it. Hopefully I caught everything. Maybe the machine shop will find more stuff, but kind of a disappointment probably for you. For me, I'm just so used to it by now. I mean, maybe one day my luck will change and something will go right, but in the meantime, it's probably gonna take a couple weeks for this stuff to come back from the machine shop, for all my parts to come back in. So I guess in the next video, I'll be back outside in the dark, rain, cold, and find something to do to keep myself busy out there. Or maybe I'll get on the fuel tank thing. I don't know. There's a lot to do. So I'll keep myself busy, and I will see you back for the next video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.